Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I wanted to cover 10 different items that I keep in my boat at all times. And these are all items that are very easy to forget. And so now I keep them all in my boat to make sure that I'm never caught without them, because when you need them, you really need them, and you're gonna regret it if you don't have them with you. Now, before I get started on number one, make sure to check the links below in the description of this video. If you're looking for any of these items, they'll all be linked down there. With that, let's get started with number one. So this one's super simple, but also important, and that is the slime rag. So having a rag with you is just so useful for so many things. When you catch a fish like a pike or a walleye, you want to wipe your hands off. If it's cold out, you're dipping minnows out from your bucket. If you spill something in the boat, you get blood in the boat, you can wipe it up with the rag. So I always keep two rags with me. I keep one on a clip that I can clip to my belt loop or let somebody else use. And then I've always got one tied right to my pedestal seat, right where I'm fishing in the front. And that is something that you will be glad you have in any fishing trip. And I like to double them over so there's like a triangle, kind of keeps them more compact and they're not flapping around getting tangled on stuff. So little tip for you there, but make sure you don't leave those babies at home. All right, guys, super important piece of equipment to have on your boat, a bump board. A bump board is going to allow you to measure fish properly, making sure that you stay within the legal size limit for the fish if you're planning on keeping it, as well as allowing you to participate in like a measure and release tournament. This particular board folds out to 60 inches, super important if you want to measure a big fish. Even if you're not fishing for big fish, if you catch the fish of a lifetime, it sure is nice to have that extra length. And it also folds up into a really compact package, super easy to store, and it is recognized by most catch and release tournaments. So there you go, guys, super important item to have on board, a bump board. Now, another item I always keep on board is a good scale. Now, if you're tournament fishing, this is an obvious one. You have to be able to weigh your fish to cull them. But if you happen to catch a big fish while you're out fishing and you want to release it and you want to have bragging rights on that fish and be able to tell people what it weighed, a scale is also important. And when it comes to weight, I like to have a 50-pound scale. There's been times where I caught a big catfish or a big pike and I didn't have a big enough scale to weigh it. So now I have this 50-pound scale from Rapala. It's a really nice, easy to use digital scale, super accurate. It saves the last 6 to 8 weights that you enter. It's got the clip for smaller fish, much easier on the fish, but it also comes with a hook if the clip isn't big enough to weigh one of those bigger fish. So that's a great little tool to have on board, a 50-pound scale. All right, here's one that's really easy to forget, guys, and that is a headlamp. That's why I always leave one on the boat. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been walleye fishing, it gets dark, I start looking for my headlamp, nowhere to be found. So I always keep one on the boat now. And this is just a simple rechargeable LED headlight. It's from Danforth. I'll leave a link in the description again for this, but it's got a few different settings on it. Gets really, really bright, lasts a long time, very basic piece of equipment, but definitely one you don't want to forget at home. So leave one of these bad boys in the boat and you'll never be without light fumbling around in the dark. So here's a pair of items that I never leave the dock without, and that is a pair of pliers and a pair of scissors. Now, the scissors are obviously super useful for any kind of line cutting, cutting braid, cutting those tag ends. They're the tool you want to use. Now, pliers will work in a pinch, but scissors are much easier to use in that application. Now, the pliers obviously come in handy for taking hooks out of fish. Anytime you need something that's got good grip on it, a pliers is going to come in handy. So always keep 2 pairs on your boat of each. So I always keep a scissors and a pliers at my dash for tying up lines and stuff while I'm sitting down. And then I always have a pair of pliers and scissors up front. And that way a tool is always within reach. Now, these are just very basic items from Rapala that work really, really well. They're solid tools. I also have a heavier duty pliers from Rapala with a really good line cutters on the side here. They also have a lanyard. They're a little bit heavier duty. I like to keep a pair of those on board as well. But that's something you don't want to forget, is your scissors and your pliers. All right, another critical item to have on board is a good net. Now, the one I've been using most recently is the new Clam Fortis rubber mesh net. And this one is a lot better for catching and releasing fish. That rubber is easy on the fish and doesn't hurt them at all. And it's great if you're fishing with a lot of treble hooks, like using jerk baits or crank baits. And this net extends out plenty far. It's got that little extendable handle super easy to do. I can even do it one-handed if I have to. And then it also collapses down up into the net, so it stores really, really easily. Good size bag on this net for any kind of walleye or bass angler, and I have had great luck with this one. If I'm going on a trip where I know I may be catching bigger fish, I'm gonna go upsize to the bigger clam Fortis net. Now this one's not rubber, but it does have a deep bag in it for netting really big fish like pike, muskies. I've even put a 60-inch sturgeon in this net before, and it does extend a little bit further as well. So this is typically the net I'm bringing with me on trolling trips when I want to net fish behind the boat. And those are the two nets that I typically use. This one also does collapse into itself, so you can store it much easier. So these are great nets, aircraft aluminum, super, super tough, and very hard to beat, these clam Fortis nets. Well guys, there's nothing worse than being out on a fishing trip and getting sunburned. And it's so easy to forget sunscreen, so I always leave a 50 SPF sunscreen in my boat just to make sure it's in there and I don't have to rely on memory to bring it with me. Now another handy item to have on your boat is a neck gaiter or a buff, and that can protect your face and neck as well and keep the sun off you. If I want to just really quick cover up, I'll throw the buff on. If I want to take the time, I can put that 50 SPF sunscreen on. Skin cancer is definitely a problem for anglers who are out on the water a lot, so make sure that you're covering up your skin, keeping those UV rays off of you. Now here's something I keep in my boat that I don't use often, but I sure am glad to have it when I need it, and that is an extra anchor with an extra rope and a clip on it. Now the anchor will serve as an emergency anchor in case I am out of power, and this does happen. And you don't want to be caught without an anchor, especially in a river system with current or a big wind without that emergency anchor. So I always keep that stowed on board, and then the rope can either serve as an anchor rope for this anchor, or it can serve as an extra spare rope in case you have to get towed, or in case your rope breaks that you pull your boat onto the trailer with. All kinds of good reasons to have that extra rope with you. So make sure that you have a rope, clip, anchor, and you won't be stuck in an emergency without a couple important pieces of gear. All right guys, now here's one I see people overlook all the time, and that is keeping extra clothes on board, especially warm gear like this. It can turn really, really fast up here in the Northwoods from a beautiful day to nasty cold front blowing wind and temps dropping. So I always like to keep a spare set of warm clothes. I like the Blackfish Storm pullover and bibs. These are the ones I keep on board. I really like these bibs. They're nice and light, comfortable. They break the wind. They've got the zipper on the leg here, so you can zip them up and not have to take your boots off to put them on. And same with the jacket. I like the zipper on the jacket so I can remove it and put it on easily as the weather changes. And then I also keep a set of Blackfish rain gear on board, because you never know when the sky is going to open up and you're going to get rained on. Now another tip is to bring an extra ball cap with you. I don't have a lot of hair on the top of my head, and if it's sunny out, I'm going to get burned if I don't have a hat on. And I have definitely had hats blow off into the water more than once. And if it's cold out especially, you don't want to put that soggy wet hat back on, and you may not even get it back. So I always carry a spare ball cap in here with the rest of my clothes. So carry that rain gear, that warm gear, and an extra ball cap, and you should be set for any day on the water. All right guys, now this is something I just started carrying in my boat, and that is a tarp. A tarp is actually a super useful piece of equipment. You never know when it's going to start raining, and yeah, you might have rain gear for yourself. However, you may not have a tarp to cover gear. You've got tackle boxes, soft-sided tackle boxes, maybe camera gear. You don't have a compartment to put it in. Just throw a tarp over it, throw a couple bungees on it, strap it down, and you can run across the lake even and not get your stuff wet. Now also, if I get caught in a big rainstorm like a heavy downpour and I don't want to get soaked, all I have to do is take this tarp out, drape it over my console, and I can sit under that tarp until the rain passes. And that really is a nice thing to have on board with you, is a tarp. So thanks for watching guys, I appreciate it. I'll leave you another video right here to watch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. We'll catch you next time. Get hooked up.